What's going on? It's your boy Tunnel Vision, and we back for another one. Yo, stop comparing these fighters to the greats. Let them build their own legacies. Stop putting that unnecessary pressure on them. I've been hearing this thing about, people comparing Devin Haney to Floyd Mayweather. And people need to stop it. Let that boy go his own path and build his own legacy. It puts unnecessary pressure on these fighters. Like, just in a quick example, Chocolatito, whatever the hell his name is. I used to like watching Chocolatito. Used to go in there, get his head knocked over like a damn jackrabbit. Like those little ping pong things, ping, 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 ping. That little game you used to play. But you have the controls, the other person has the controls, and it's a bang, 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 and then pew, the person's head pops up all of a sudden, and they lose the game, and you won the game. It's like that game, and it was fun. And he would end up pulling out the victories. He was a little bit bigger than the guys. It was fun. That all changed as soon as they said he was top. He was number one pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. Because now I had to see him through a different glass. I had to compare him to an Andre Ward. I had to compare him to a Terrence Crawford. What's this guy, what is he, how does he compare to all of those guys? So when he's sitting there and he's struggling against this lower tier competition and he's finishing his fights with his face all, eyes all swollen up and face all bruised up, to me they were trash fights. Because now I was critiquing him on a different lens. Even somebody like a Lomachenko, when they try to say that he's the greatest fighter since Ali. Okay, so now I'm looking at you and I'm critiquing you against an Ali. I'm critiquing you against a Floyd Mayweather. I'm critiquing you even against the Manny Pacquiao's, even the Terrence Crawfords of the world, people that are fighting today. I'm critiquing you. And when you're going 12 rounds against Pedraza and having issues with Pedraza, somebody that we've seen Gervonta Tank Davis run right through and stop, when you're finishing a fight against Campbell and you're having issues with Campbell and you're having issues with that particular fighter, and I know an Earl Spence isn't having an issue with that level type of fighter. I know a Terrence Crawford isn't having an issue with that level type of fighter. I know a Canelo Alvarez isn't having that issue against that level of fighter. I know a Manny Pacquiao isn't having issues against that level type of fighter. I'm looking at you at a different lens now. So to me, it's a trash performance. Your first fight on ESPN facing a guy who was coming up in weight, coming off a loss, and your face is all peppered up, and you're talking about how you need to work on your defense after that fight. A different lens we're looking at. I don't want to look at Devin Haney through a lens like that. I want to just enjoy Devin Haney for the fighter that he is and watch him progress and watch him grow and see where he ends up. Whether he ends up to be one of the greats like a Floyd Mayweather, like an Andre Ward. I want to let him just go through his own path and see where he lands. He's a great fighter. He's somebody that, how great we'll have to see as his career goes on. He might end up, if he stays focused and to continue to progress, being one of the best fighters to ever fight. But stop comparing that man to Floyd Mayweather. There was one Floyd Mayweather. There was one. There will never be another Floyd Mayweather. We might, if we're lucky, see somebody on that level again in our generation. We might, if we're lucky. Chances are no. When it comes to the Floyd Mayweathers, these are types of fighters that you see every 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that just pops up. For anybody who has time, look at Devin Haney's fights that he's been having. Then go look at some of the Floyd Mayweather's fights at 20 years old. Go look at those fights. Go look at Floyd Mayweather's fights at 21 years old. Go look at those fights, and then also go look at the fights against somebody like a Gennaro Hernandez, who was top 10 pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world at the time. A fight that Floyd Mayweather was an underdog, fighting a guy that is more experienced and bigger than him. Go look at him facing an Angel Man Freddy that was seen as a number 2 best fighter in that class, in that weight class, where everybody thought that he was crazy for taking on Janelle Hernandez first, and then they thought he was crazy for taking on Angel Manfredi after that. Go look at the fights against him and at Diego Corrales. Go look at those types of fights. Go look, but also, like I said, look at the fights when he was like 20 years old, when he was just in the game. And then go look at Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a great fighter. He's no freaking Floyd Mayweather. Those two guys, we're talking about night and day when it comes to levels of competition. You take Devin Haney, what he is right now, you put him up against a Floyd Mayweather of the exact same age, Devin Haney gets stopped. He gets stopped. It's that drastic of a difference. Floyd Mayweather was a monster. He was a beast. Not only that, you could count on one hand how many fights he was heavier than the other dude. And you don't need all 5 fingers. Yet he was still able to dominate. He was so far ahead of everyone else. Even when he got older, his reflexes weren't as fast. When he was slower, when he was taking on guys 15, 20 pounds bigger than him with brittle hands, he still was able to dominate them. Completely different levels. But Devin Haney, great fighter. Shakur Stevenson, great fighter. I think these two guys, if they stay focused, they stay on point, and they keep on progressing, I think they could end up being one of the greats. But we'll have to see. They're going to have to write their own path. And we need to shut the fuck up and stop comparing them to these other guys and just enjoy the process. Let us just enjoy the process, man, as they grow. You know? Now, I know people like doing it. A lot of people do it, you know, and it's nothing towards anybody, because a lot of people, you know, make these comparisons all the time. And I'm saying people need to stop it. You know, stop it, because then it puts us into a space where now we have to look at them through the lens of being on that level. So if they have certain fights that are not on that level and they don't do the things that this other guy was able to do, then, oh, they're a failure, basically. Then, oh, it's not impressive what they're doing then. It all of a sudden becomes not impressive what they're doing, because we have this bar, this standard that we've now imposed on them. Let's not impose these things on them. Let's chill. Let's watch this dude do his thing, and let's enjoy it. But all these comparisons with the Floyd Mayweathers, especially with the Floyd Mayweather, let's stop it. Let's stop doing that, man. Let's stop comparing these dudes. Lomachenko's no greater since Ali. Lomachenko's not even probably top 10, one of the best fighters out right now. If he was an Ali, he'd be able to do what a Manny Pacquiao has done. He can't even do what Manny Pacquiao started at 118. Marquez started something where I think around 118 also. Floyd Mayweather started at 130. Miguel Cotto started at 140, went all the way up to 160. Floyd started at 130, went all the way up to 154 pounds. Manny Pacquiao 118 to 152 or whatever. Marquez 118 to 147. He can't even do the things of the previous generation. You know, Ramirez at 140, he's calling him out. He can go up to 140 and fight Ramirez for 2 belts. Then after that, he can go for undisputed versus the Progress Taylor winner. He can do that. He won't be in any kind of weight deficit that Floyd Mayweather hasn't been in, that Manny Pacquiao hasn't been in. Both of those guys have been in those types of weight disadvantages and came out, you know, on top. Manny Pacquiao is freaking, 40-some years old. He just took one of the top welterweights in the world and beat him. So, I mean, if this guy is supposedly one of the greatest in the world, he should be able to do that. Him going up one weight class to 140, taking on Ramirez, should be no issue. 2 weeks before the fight, he's at 144 pounds. I think a week before the fight. 2 weeks before a fight, he's sitting at 144 pounds. Or a month, or 2 weeks or a month, one of the two. But he's still right there. Floyd Mayweather, 2 months before a fight, he's weighing in at 147 pounds. When he fights at 154, he's waking up in the morning. He's eating, he's drinking, doing all that other stuff in the morning prior to weigh-ins. So if he was supposedly that great, he'd be able to, do this. He'd be able to go up to 140 and bang with those dudes. That would be no issue whatsoever. If Devin Haney he's starting at 135, so if he's so great, if we really want to play that card, hey, he's about to go up to 142, right? You should have no issue going up to 140 and taking on Ramirez. Or taking on Prograis versus Taylor winner in the next couple of months. Let's let these boys build their own legacies. Let's let them build their own path. Let's let them build their own stories. And let's not impose unnecessary pressure and unnecessary shit on them. So I look forward to enjoying that man's career and seeing where it goes. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.